Hello, I am back. Well, Fiona is back as well. Yeah, I introduced you. Um, so I I just want to make this video. As we know, this is June, Pride Month, the month that I participated in for so many years, up until the Lord delivered me. And I just wanted to make a video. I know it's been a while, and a lot has happened. A lot has happened. I mean, as you know, we're still in this pandemic, but God is still good. And that to know that if this pandemic would have never happened, this version of myself would never really exist. Because I understood that it's time to get it together. Foot to the pedal. Um, but so I mean, the topic that I'm going to be talking about is it's not it's not all about the sexual attraction. It's not all about homosexuality. It's not all about that. You know, if it would have been revealed to me that the Lord was going to deliver me, I probably would have ran away from Him, knowing that you can't hide from Him. But like I wouldn't have believed it, of course, because of such a strong, attraction and love that I had for women. I just wouldn't have believed it. Okay. So, you know, throughout all of this, it's God has just been revealing Himself to me even more, and it's just all been a blessing. And so I pray that this channel has been helping somebody out there dealing with either same-sex attraction or being in the process of being delivered, or you've come out of it, and you need a little bit of help because trust me, I did. And it really took that separation from old people, those familiar spirits, and really trusting God, really trusting God, you know, um, walking by faith, truly walking by faith. A lot of people say, or I've heard people say, oh, well, God doesn't really, perform miracles like that, like He did. I am a living testimony. Yes, He did. This is all of Him. I take none of the credit whatsoever. So, I think the last video I uploaded, I was basically talking about, I guess, how it's different or something. Do you have a problem? Um, just talking about, I guess, how it's different being a man, being married to a man. um, so, but yeah, a lot of things has happened, and the Lord has been just revealing Himself to me even more. And so, I wanted to come on here and I wanted to share with you guys the fact that, ooh, God really does speak. He has His very unique way of speaking to each and every one of us, in a different way. And I, I really can't even explain it, to be honest. I know, I know when he speaks to me, as the word says that, His sheep know His voice. And I'm like, yeah. So, as you know, I am married, and the Lord made me a wife, and He also made me a stepmother. So, um, with that being said, there's a lot of things that we try and kind of hold on to, um, what we see our parents do. And I know how I was raised. I can't say everything was perfect because we don't do things perfectly, here. So I know that there definitely was some error, and I know that there's some things that, um, we have to work on. You know, we can't always look to our parents to kind of use their example to, you know, become a parent, like, or, you know, being a parent. And so back when I was younger, we really didn't have that, you know, I love yous. You know, I might have heard my mother say that she loved me the max 5 times. Um, as far as I remember, I mean, of course, maybe she would have, maybe she said it to me when I was a baby. I really don't know, but I do know at least 3 of those times where she has stated that she loved me, that I remember. Um, but yeah, and so being a stepmother and with me trying to get to know him and him getting to know me, I don't want to give him that same like, oh well, you know, have that room of, you know, does she love me? Does she not love me? Am I bothering her? You know, what can I do? You know, that kind of thing, making it seem like he did anything wrong, you know, because he didn't. And so what the Lord revealed to me is that, you know, it was, you think you're over something or you think that you got all of it out, but God is still like, he's still working on me and he's still getting things out of me. And so it's just, it's so amazing. Um, and so what happened was that my husband, you know, my husband actually had a dream, and he, you know, he doesn't really have dreams. So the fact that he had one, there was no doubt at all. And when he told me this dream, I knew it was like a punch dead in my chest, and I knew that I was wrong. Not saying that I did anything intentionally to him, you know, to hurt my stepson, but I know that there are things that I still need to, I can't continue to make excuses on. I have to address them, you know, and I have to give it to God. So inside the dream, he stated that he came home, and I don't know where I was at. I'm not sure if he said that I was in the dream or not, but I know that he came home, which I mean, I can't imagine our stepson being in a house or wherever alone. But he came home and he was hearing, you know, crying, and he was calling out, you know, to our he was calling, you know, our stepson's name, and I think he said he was calling me too, but so he comes inside the house, and you know, of course, he's approaching this noise that he hears, and so um and so he comes into our room, and he stops in front of the closet, and he opens up the closet door, and there is our stepson, you know, on the floor crying. And so my husband's like, you know, asking him like, what are you crying for? You know, what's wrong? And, you know, his response, his response is, why doesn't Briante love me? And I'm like, wow. You know, and um, of course um, he's still speaking to me. But I'm like, wow. Um, you know, it just hit me just dead in my chest. And I'm like, oh no, that feeling, I was always that kind of child where I knew, like, okay, everything that I did, I wanted to please my mother. And of course, the enemy just always finds a way in, and he ended up turning that into, idolatry, and as every child wants to, as every child wants to please their parent, it took me back then, like, oh my goodness, I did something wrong. I did something wrong. And it had me in shock, and I felt horrible. I felt horrible because I'm like, I don't ever want to make a child, I don't ever want to make anybody feel that way. And so he's still talking, and my mind is just stuck on this. Wow, just even imagining it right now, as he's talking to me, just imagining it, just is playing over and over again. And I was on like just freeze mode. I mean, the words, how he continued on telling me the story or whatever the case may be, I stayed in that moment right there, and I was so upset with myself. I was so upset with myself because I'm like, wow, here I am watching, all of these Lifetime movies and documentaries and just real stories of people, you know, um, who've had different childhoods where their parent doesn't talk to them, where their parent doesn't even want them to call them, mom or dad, that they don't even want anything to do with them. And here am I. Here am I about to go down that same road, like not even knowing it, and I'm like, wow, because I'm not used to showing emotion, like I'm not, how I was brought up is, by actions. Well, why would you think that I don't love you? Don't I do X, Y, and Z for you? But as a child, automatically we're thinking, well, that's what you're supposed to do because you're the parent. That's the child's expectation of the parent, you know? And how God says, have childlike faith. And it's like, because they don't stress out, well, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Or where am I sleeping at tonight? They don't worry about any of that. So that's an expectation. And so I'm just like, wow. And so really what I'm saying is that throughout this journey that the Lord has been taking me on, it has been a lot more than just homosexuality. There are so many more layers that need to be peeled off of me and whoever, that has been a part of the LGBT community, whatever it is, whatever it is that is your thing, whatever it is that you've been brought out of, there's so many reasons why the Lord did not want you on that path. There's so many reasons why the Lord wants us to himself. Like, he has so much better for us. He has so much in store for us. And, ooh. So that night, I was upset. And, I didn't even, that was kind of how we ended our night. We had that conversation, and even though it wasn't an argument or anything like that, I felt horrible. I felt horrible. Like, no. Because I recognize that when you have a child, you are responsible for everything that gets put into their heads, into their brains. Like, you are responsible for this. Never have I. That's really what it is. When we continue to grow closer, and as we continue on this path, on the narrow path, financial part of it, and how people always, oh, well, are you ready to have a child? How are your expenses looking like? That has never been a concern of mine. My concern has always been, what am I going to teach them? Am I going to teach them the right thing? Am I going to lead them down the right path? Because, I'm so like, even coming on YouTube, I'm like, Lord, because I don't know who's been on here from the very beginning. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to stir anybody in the wrong direction. And I don't want anyone to misinterpret anything that I've said in the past or that I may say in the future. It's a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing. There's certain things that I don't do around other people that I may do here. You know, not trying to be, self-righteous, but I just know that if and I know that I have people, you know, who follow me, who keep up with me. I don't want to become a stumbling block for them. I don't want them to get, the impression that they can do X, Y, and Z and still worship you, you know, and that's everybody has their path that they're going to go on. What you can do may not be the same things that I can do, and what I can do may not be the same things that you can do. And so it's just so like the responsibility that gets put on to be a parent, it is so like it's so serious to me. And I may be over exaggerating it, but it is so important on what it is that we are teaching our children, what it is that they observe, us do. And so I'm like, Lord, I need whatever this is that's holding me back from showing, my affections and actually meaning what I say. Because if I tell him that I love him and I'm not really showing that in my actions, and I'm assuming that he ought to know because I do X, Y, and Z for him, but not actually really showing him, that I truly love him and that I care about him, that's an issue, and I need to work on that. And so that night, I didn't really get much sleep, and I know that it was on my husband's mind too, in the morning driving to work. Yeah, I cried all the way to work. I cried and I prayed all the way to work. And even being at work, it was still like, ooh, this weight that was still on my chest. Like, Lord, so what do I do? What do you want me to do to take this? What do you want me to do? Because I know that with you making me a stepmom is helping me let go of things that I need to let go of. And when you think that you have all of it out, when you don't, because you have these situations that pop up. And it's like, it really hurts me because I'm like, Lord, I've forgiven my mother. I thought that I gave her to you, all the way. And nope, I didn't. I didn't fully give her to the Lord. And so even being at my job, because the job that I work at, I'm able, I have a lot of freedom at my job. And so it even being at my job, and I worked a double that day. So going to work in the morning, being in the car, already having our moment, already having that prayer time with the Lord, and then still being at work and it still being on my heart. And so it caused me to stop and to pause, go in a quiet area and ask the Lord, what do you want me to do? What is it that I should do right now that I end this? Whatever this is, because I know how important it is for a child to know that their parent loves them, that they care about them, because I don't want him to fall into idolatry with me, with anybody. It's so important. It's so important. So important. All I wanted when I was a child was my mom. That's all I wanted. Nothing else. Nothing else. And I don't ever want to pass that along to anybody. Nobody. And so, at that moment right there, I prayed. And I heard the Lord say, you need to give her to me. You need to give her to me. And I prayed and I said, okay. Thinking that I have really tackled that. It's hard. It's hard. And so what I want everybody to understand is that it is way more. It is way more than the attraction. It's way more than what you think it is. God is trying to do something more. He's trying to do something more in your life. He's trying to do something more in your life. What he has for you is you can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. You can't even imagine what the Lord has for you. We have to really, really seek his face. Don't give up. If I'm talking to anybody out there who is going through something, who's being delivered from something, don't give up. Because you don't know what the Lord has in store for you. Keep pushing, keep going. The enemy is always going to be on your tail. Because I'm telling you, because the enemy, the enemy definitely wants me back. He definitely wants me back. You know, it's like this ex that just always seems to always pop up. It's don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. And when I tell you, ever since then, after, praying and just giving it to God, so I can move on, so I can be released from that, delivered from that, things have gotten so much better. Things have gotten so much better in the way that I view myself, in the way that even me in his like interaction with each other, it has improved tremendously. Like it has been so much better, to where, because he probably feels like he's walking on eggshells with me, and that's exactly how I was feeling like being around him, where I didn't want to, say anything wrong, and which I still don't, but with me giving my mother away to the Lord, now I'm able to step into parenthood, adulthood, it just in the Lord's teaching, on how to do things, not basing my parenting now off of what I have been, taught in the past, because no child wants that. No child wants that. No child wants that. They don't. And I know firsthand that no child wants to ever experience that. So, I just wanted to get on here and just let you know that, the Lord has so much more in store for you. It's not all about drugs. It's not all about, alcoholism. It's not all about homosexuality. It's not. It's so much deeper in that the Lord is going to deliver you from. For me, it was homosexuality that led on to other things. For you, it may be something different that led on other things, that let open all of these different doorways in your life. And the Lord is just, give it to me. Give it to me. Being born, the baby is so pure, so innocent. Babies even have a certain smell to them. The softness of their skin and just beautiful. And we go through life and we pick up all of this baggage and we just are clothed in all of these different layers, and the Lord just wants to just wipe all of it off of us. Chopping the tree down and digging up that root, pulling up that root. But yeah, so that's what I just wanted to come on here and say, and give you that update that the Lord is still working. And this happened, I don't know, maybe two months ago when this took place. And, it's been good. It's been so good. It has been so good, and yeah, God is good whoever it is out there, don't give up. You know, it's God has so much in store for us all. You know, he loves us. He loves us so much, and he knows exactly what we're going through. Seek his face. Seek his face. Don't give up. I thank you guys for tuning in, and I pray that you have a good day, and trust God. Trust God. And it's like I need to share the word with everybody else. I'm trying to figure out why he trusts me so much and why he's using me. Like, and am I ready? Like, am I ready?